The immediate week afterwards, just try and locate as many stock as you can. It was really difficult to feed stock because a lot of the machinery had burnt, a lot of the feeders had burnt, a lot of the fences were gone. So there were a lot of things to address in that first week in terms of feeding stock. But the best advice is try and work out where your stock are, get them all into a central point and start to feed the best quality feed you can at that point in time to support them. These animals have been through a lot, they've been under high stress, they need a lot of really good quality protein and energy and feed like that to get them going again. So yeah, gather them in and start to feed them and just check them daily and know what to look for. So burns around the udder, burns to the feet, lameness, animals that are just droopy and don't look well and don't want to come in to eat, things like that, those animals need assessing by a vet. In the week following the fire, we really found that the animals' injuries got worse rather than better. So a lot of the stock that we looked at on, say, the Monday or the Tuesday following the fire started to look worse, and a lot of their injuries started to become more apparent, particularly the feet wounds. Their feet started to separate at the coronet and their feet started to fall off. So in the immediate week after the fire, we really were finding that farmers had to check their stock daily, and we often had to go back and do revisits. Just the situation changed, and animals that were assessed as okay on early in the piece needed reassessment and sometimes destruction later in the week. So that was the rechecking was really important. They need to start finding a more secure food source for the animals. So if they're committed to continuing with the supplementary feeding, they can do that, but they need to get some professional advice and work out what class of stock they're trying to feed, how much they need and what sort of things they're going to feed long term. And they need to, if they have got too many stock to feed, they need to start to prioritise what they're going to sell and what they're going to retain. Yes, I suppose still in that 2 to 4 weeks after the fire, just monitoring how they're going and what they look like. Some of the animals that have had superficial burns will still be healing during this period, so they still need checking. Longer term, people who have lost stock or who have destocked to let the pasture come away may want to restock, and it's really, really important to be really careful about where you're buying replacement stock from so that you don't bring another problem onto your property. So looking at things like the health of the stock, you need to ask for either a sheep health statement or a cattle health declaration prior to getting the stock and making sure they're free of certain diseases, and things like worming them when they arrive and just making sure you don't bring a problem onto your property. And again, local land services have staff that can help you make those decisions for your individual situation. So the other things to think about is ensuring that your stock have access to really good quality clean water. The fire, had a devastating effect on the water quality, just because of the heat and the fire that went over, but then we found that in some areas that got sporadic storms after that, it washed a lot of the soot off the hills and down into the dams and ruined the water quality at the dams. And not to mention the fire, burnt everything, so the ability to pump water was diminished. So that's something else that farmers really need to look at in that immediate phase and then moving through into the weeks and months following, that even though you've got stock and you're trying to feed them, that water also is really, really important to their health and their ongoing productiveness. Local land services have got offices in most towns, and so you will have a nearby district vet or land services officer or biosecurity officer that can help you. So I recommend your first port of call being your local land services office. Other than that, we've got really great information on our website, and there's also some really good DPI prime facts that you might be able to look up online.